Now that's iconic. Every Thursday night, 9 p.m., Iconic Cafe hits the digital radio airwaves with the best in home interviews and cooking. Be sure to check out Iconic Cafe Mishawaka Facebook page for upcoming and archive shows. Now that's iconic.
Hey, welcome fans. Iconic Radio. Bruce here with Jimi Lovitt. Jimmy, before we start, I'm just going to go over some things for Bill McDonald. Of course, at the Phoenix this Thursday will be open mic. Friday will be ground control. And Saturday will be Hooligan Heights at Jason's 5-Star Dive Bar. Mr. Paul Erdman is there tonight. Looks like Blammo and Ultra Fab will be there Friday night and Zero on Saturday. And, of course, at Rock Sports Bar, it'll be Paul Erdman on Saturday night. So a couple other things for Bill we'll get out of the way. Next week is John Lennon Week, December 8th through the 11th. There will be no Michiana Scene on the 8th, but they'll be airing instead the John Lennon interview with Andy Peebles of the BBC from December 6, 1980, from 6 to 8:15 p.m. And, again, this is the interview before John was shot. So it's very neat that Bill would get this and put it on the air, but it's a great memorial to Mr. John Lennon. Of course, Tuesday night, part one of John's last interview with Dave Scholin of RKO Radio from December 8th, 1980, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Wednesday night, part two of the RKO Radio interview from December 8th, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Thursday night will be part three of the RKA radio interview from December 8th, 1980, from 8 to 9 p.m., and then we'll be on Iconic Radio after that. And next week's guest will be Thomas A. Russell, and he is the author of Finding Your True North, A Bullied Teen's Journey of Hope. Great book coming out. So, Jimmy, let me just get some of Bill's stuff out of the air. How you doing this evening?
Excellent, Bruce.
Well, I'm glad to have you. I know this is a big week for you. Saturday is your open house for the Midwest Musicians Co-op. I got to come out and see you. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. The store's looking fantastic.
Oh, yeah, we're getting there. I can't wait for the grand opening. Something that's a long time in coming. Finally going to arrive.
And, the building has such a cool vibe in it. I mean, right when you walk in, the door's huge. It's like an old metal huge door. But it's like an old factory. Is that what it used to be back in the day?
Yeah, I think it was something obviously it'd be an Elkhart. It was the RV surplus at one time, made parts and things like that. And the giant building next door was once a part of it at one time, I guess. They once were connected, and over the years that the one building kind of broke off and was a pawn shop for many years, and just a really, really cool place.
Oh, I know. It's very clean, very well heated, and if you can help, there's like different rooms, throughout it. So when you walk in, there's like the main room, but then you go in the back, you got different rooms. Can you explain all the different rooms you got?
Yeah, we've got, you walk in, it's a big open room there where we, a display room, and we've got, of course, a teaching studio. We've got another room where we've got some of the nicer and vintage guitars. Got a room in the back with more of the PA equipment. Got a repair shop in the middle there also, and it's just it's just really got a cool feel to it. I think somebody today told me it kind of reminded them of the old what was it? Vintage guitar place up in Michigan there. Oh. Elderly, God, kind of reminded me of the early Elderly.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Why couldn't I think of that? I've been there, 100 times. But I tell you, I've been kind of running on adrenaline now. I have some really long days. Matter of fact, after we're done here, I go home. I probably got to head back and, work through the night again.
Well, I think it's great. It's like a dream come true. Remember, since we've been on the air past couple shows, this has been something you've wanted to do for many years. And how did you come up with the name Midwest Musicians Co-op? Is there something to that?
This came to me, and the concept of a co-op and with musicians working together, obviously it's been done in farmers markets and things like that, but never done with teachers and different, luthiers and people that build and sell guitars, or just average everyday guys like yourself that want to bring in some gear and sell, and just everybody kind of in a giant co-op, not to say like, in the old days of like the old hippie communes, but, something where everybody works together.
And I think it's great, and we talked before, this is like the first to happen here around in this area, isn't it?
Oh, it may be. It may be the first in the country. There's the research I did, the only other musicians co-ops were for like band reversal space, which was, a cool concept too, but don't have quite enough room for that yet, but who knows down the road.
Well, and too, you got Joe Feingold coming in working with you, and he's going to be giving lessons.
Yeah, he's going to be giving lessons, and plus he also buys and sells some guitars, and got a few in there of his, and of course he loves his Ibanez, but he's got some others too.
Who else you got teaching? Is there other people?
Oh yeah, we've got Matt Kennedy also be teaching guitar. On basically Joe will be doing through the weeks on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Matt will be doing Saturdays.
Now, Joe's style's kind of a shredder. What's Mr. Kennedy's? What's it?
He's more of a jazz player. Just excellent player. They were big write-up in the Tribune on his band just a couple weeks ago. He's got I apologize to Matt, but he's got a really unusual name, which I can't even pronounce.
So these are for beginning people, or any age, any style, any for guitar lessons, correct?
Oh yeah, it's any style, and Joe will work with you. If you want. Of course, he's been classically trained, and he can play the classical guitar, and do your basic rock, and also Joe can also teach bass also.
Oh.
And any style from beginner to advanced. I believe I think he wants to cut off at least. Starting out maybe 10, 11, 12-year-olds, for Joe. And I'm not sure with Matt. He might be take him just a hair younger.
And there's plenty of parking up front, and is there parking on the side for people too?
Yeah, there's also parking on the side and in the rear. I'd like to, maybe the co-op members to park in the back. Probably, a good dozen parking spots in the back, and, 5 or 6 on the side, and probably 8 or 9 in the front. So it... we can accommodate some decent parking.
Well, and too, like your other stores too, it's very comfortable to go in. A parent can bring their kid to take lessons. They can hang out at the store. There's plenty to see, plenty to do.
Excellent. As a matter of fact, I brought in a couple tables and chairs where people can sit down and and take a break while their kids are taking lessons, or just somebody's in there looking, just wants to sit down, maybe read a magazine, vintage guitar magazine or something I'll have laying out there, and also have a table in the LP room where if you just want to sit down and go through the LPs and the 45s, because that can be time consuming, and a nice little chair there to relax and go through the records.
Getting LPs, we're going to take a break in just a few minutes, but how many LPs you got now? You were telling me. You just got a shipment just came in, too.
Yeah, I've got another friend of mine used to have a record store in Kalamazoo 20 years ago, and he's saved some of the cream of the crop, and it's just now deciding to sell some of them off, so we should be well over a couple thousand.
Oh, 1,000 LPs?
Oh, a couple thousand.
Wow. And, of course, these are all from what era to era? I mean, is this pretty much rock and roll?
The biggest sellers, of course, are the rock, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And, of course, you got in the 90s also. But just excellent selection of music, guys like us who grew up with. And the younger generation is starting to dig some of these. I know Mike Stowe, his son is into the the vinyl now, and he comes, he goes through some of the when we were at the swap meet, going through some and digging some of the stuff that that guys our age liked. A young kid like that. That's what I love to see.
Oh, that's great. Well, we just got 30 seconds. We're going to take a break real quick with Jimi Lovitt. Again, Grand opening will be Saturday, correct? What's the hours?
Saturday, 10 to 5. 10 to 5 on Saturday.
And Sunday will be open too?
Well, 11 to, officially 11 to 5, but we'll probably, Joe will be doing a little play in there. It might run a little long.
Okay. And is there a Facebook page up or a website yet?
Oh, we've had the Midwest Musicians page up for quite a while, so you can go there and get all the details.
All right, we'll be right back. Year of the Cat, Mr. Al Stewart. All right, we're back on with Jimi Lovitt. Took a little break with Al Stewart. Great song. And as usual, when we're off the air, we get some great conversation going. And there is a Monkees poster right in front of us. Man, this is what Jimmy... I asked him, like, what's some famous albums that are worth something? And you mentioned about a Japanese imposter of the Monkees? Or?
No, it was actually just a Japanese copy of the Monkees for export. Every country has, has their different albums and things like that, but it was, your exports and stuff like that. But another friend of mine, Mike Cagle, used to own a record store up in Kalamazoo many years ago, and he's bringing in some of his collection to sell. And boy, I just had to glance through them this afternoon, going through some of the pricing, and one of them was in a Monkees export from Japan. It was really cool, and he had the Beatles Butcher Block cover-up album. Like I said, I'm just not an expert on some of these, the albums, and because of the rarities and stuff like that. But so he had some really, really cool stuff.
Well, you mentioned too, but it's neat that there's a place to go where they can look at this stuff. I mean, like we were talking, I said, why are LPs worth it? And you said because they were a first production. It's like the last of that.
Oh yeah, it's first copy. Like you can reissue a '58 Les Paul, but it's still not the same as an original. Just like with the vinyl, it's they only made them that year once, and it's just not the same to reproduce them.
Well, that's great, and that's its own room, correct?
Yeah, it has the vinyl den in there, and I've got a few that collections I've bought, not a whole lot, and of course Ken Price from Wildwood, who's been at it pretty much the king of the vinyl around here, puts on the record shows, and man, he's brings out usually 1,000 LPs and rotates them and brings in I think we got several. Oh, just a ton of 45s. He's constantly bringing them in. And now my good friend Mike Cagle's starting to bring in some of his collection, and he's got some really, really rarities. Like I said, I just took a glance at the first 50 or so and went over some of the pricing with him, and he's got some just really hard-to-find, unusual LPs.
Yeah, so for collectors, wanting a place to go to find albums besides Goodwill,
Exactly.
and everything like that. This is the place to go. I was talking to, you said, too, you're going to get a room or something where you can play these, too.
Yeah,
right?
well, we're having set up, a decent turntable where you can try them out and listen to them. And, that's that way you can actually hear. And I'd like to have one, where we can just keep it playing. And if somebody's not trying one out, like in the collection I just bought, it had every Hendrix one ever. So I'll keep them babies rolling and stuff. And then also have another gentleman hasn't brought it in yet. Just gonna be selling vintage jukeboxes, which
really,
really be cool.
Oh
yeah, with the 45s, not your digital stuff like you see out there today in your jukeboxes, but the 30s and 40s and and jukeboxes, the Seabergs, and some of your really cool vintage stuff.
That will be cool. Now, what are those priced at? Do you know? Or?
No, I'm not really sure of its pricing. I just like with guitars. I'm sure the rarity and the different models are going to be obviously different prices.
And you'll be posting stuff on Facebook, right?
Oh yeah. It'll all be out there as soon as it comes in. I just haven't had a chance to just threw a few pictures out there today of the store and maybe take a few of the albums and stuff. And it's going to be a long journey, but we'll get it out there.
Well, too, now let's get to guitars, too, because, you're building guitars, right?
Yeah, we're putting. I like to put together some, one out of parts and rejuvenate them and hot rod them and refinish them, and then another friend, Calvin Mullins, that paints them and some of the nicer ones, and I dabble in it myself. But mine, I got those. Things where I can put the skulls on them, and so I got one of those. So I got a couple guitars. They're just nothing but skulls. So hey, I go through phases. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I make them playable and priced reasonably.
Well, in fact, I brought in a Chevelle. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Chevelle.
Okay, USA one, and it was missing just down by the bridge, right?
Yeah, it was missing a real tiny piece there that held the string on. And boy, I had I found a dealer in Arizona that had an original '86 piece. I had to buy two of them to get on there and take the entire bridge apart. But I'll tell you, it was a learning experience for me because I'm not usually the guy working on the guitars, but I figure, hey, it's my buddy. I'm going to tackle this one.
But I think that's really neat, and that says a lot about you and this co-op because you're very passionate about it. And you go the extra mile for people. So really pay attention to that. Also, too, now there's a paint booth in there where people can bring their guitars in, get them painted.
No, that'd be off-site there. We don't have room. Okay. I have, matter of fact, my friend Calvin is just moving into a new place, and that probably won't be set up for a little while there. He's big into raising horses, and matter of fact, he's got just a beautiful Arabian that he's got up for sale now, and he says, "Boy, when that sells, we're gonna be buying lots of guitars."
Oh, that'll be great. And you're selling other brands too, right? Guitars. You got different brands. People come in.
Oh yeah, of course we're always big into the used, and for Christmas time I brought in some PV and Squire and Epiphone, for good beginners. Usually I don't sell them all the time, but Christmas times, kids, they like to have a brand new guitar, so I, stacked a few of those for the kids.
Well, too, and are you going to remember last show you talked about is guitar lessons? For the student, there's an internship. Did I say that correctly?
Well, more of a scholarship. Like I said, we put together, and we'll get that now that we actually got a place we can do it. We'll get that together, and what we were going to do is have them fill out a little essay, and some of the guys that the older co-op members that will go through and pick one out and award a scholarship for like 6 months of lessons.
Well, that's great. Now, is there going to be any bass lessons too, besides guitar? Other instruments you're going to be giving lessons?
Right now, I hope to add as much as we can. Right now, we only have one studio, so right now it's just guitar and bass. In the back, I'd like to eventually add maybe a drum studio, and obviously any band instruments or anything that can be taught in there.
And like you said, being a co-op, you got so many people or a variety that can come through and help out. And if someone's interested in bringing their wares in, or that they contact you through your Facebook page, or you always can the co-op. Of course, my number is 574-850-5223, and I'll set you right up. Whether you want to sell some gear or like you want to help out a little bit, I've never passed up someone to come in to give me a hand. Oh, I know. It's always been great, Jimmy. Well, for Bill, again, I'll go over what shows are coming that sponsor XCRS. Of course, the Phoenix Thursday night is open mic. Friday will be Ground Control, and Saturday will be Hooligan Heights. Of course, 5-Star Dive Bar, Paul Erdman will be there Thursday night. Friday will be Blammo and Ultra Fab, and Saturday will be Zero. Of course, Rock Sports will have Paul Erdman on Saturday night. And if you remember, last week, Paul was up here with Jeff Jones with Token Guitar Amps, and you can check that out on YouTube. And also, I'm going to start, Jimmy was nice enough to show me how to put the YouTube on Facebook. So I'm going to be posting those on the Iconic Radio Facebook page. So we got just a few seconds left. We'll take another break. I got some old Blue Oyster Cult coming up. One of my favorites, Don't Fear the Reaper, and one kind of obscure with them, Roadhouse Blues. That was kind of popular by the Doors. and you'll get to hear how Blue Oyster Cult did it. So, again, Iconic Radio. Always want to thank Brenda down at the cafe. It was homemade ham and beans this evening. It was a great special. Always appreciate it. And say hi to Lisa. So, all right, we'll be back. This is Iconic Radio. All right, that was Roadhouse Blues by Blue Oyster Cult. Bill just told me that was Robbie Krieger on guitar on there. So, because I'm saying I've seen Blue Oyster Cult about 10 times, never heard that. So, well, hey, we're back with Jimi Lovitt. Bill just gave me what they're going to do tonight at 11 p.m. on Radio Classics, NBC Best Plays, Blythe Spirit. And that was aired on August 31st, 1952. And that'll be brought to you by the Phoenix Grill. So look for that, 11 o'clock tonight. Okay, we're back. Again, we had some great conversation while the music was playing. You mentioned Scott Noyes, who's been around here forever. And what's he doing for you with the co-op?
Well, Scott's got to be doing guitar setups and repairs there. And I tell you, our paths never really crossed a whole lot, but he came into McNeese just after my time was ending there, and just a great guy. We talked for hours about the old days, and he actually does a dead-on impression of Mac.
Well, we got to have him on the show.
It's hysterical. And unlike me, who only seen bits and pieces of the collection, Scott actually got to see the vault.
Oh, wow. Well, we got to talk to him, so we got to have him on the air for Memories of McNeese. And what's he going to be doing at the co-op?
Well, he'll be taking in repairs and setup. He is definitely the guy to do setups. I'll tell you, he's just a fantastic attention to detail, And he talks like, we were setting up these guitars, the original Fender specs, and oh my God, and just to be able to do that, I say, well, gosh, I'm lucky to get the intonation right, and in a couple hours, and you talk about setting stuff to the original Fender specs, but he is definitely a master at his craft. Also one heck of a bass player.
Yes, and just a great guy to talk with. I mean, he'll spend the time, and like you said, he's been playing in bands probably since the 70s.
Oh, yeah. He, in one of the top bands there, Stencil Force. And in fact, he just had the reunion here not too long ago at the 5-Star at that benefit there. And I tell you, they hit the road a couple times, and, he'd leave McNeese, and, when things would slow down on the road, he'd come back. I think he served at least 3 or 4 tours of duty at McNeese, just definitely a lot longer than I did.
Yeah, so it'll be great. Hopefully we can get him on the show for Memories of McNeese. But, again, you can see him down at the co-op. Does he have any set hours for you, Jimmy? No,
he'll be coming in usually at the beginning of the week and taking in repairs. And, he'll just call and make an appointment. And, he'll meet you and go over. He just did 3 guitars for Steve Dixon. And, boy, I tell you, once word gets out that he's back at it, he's going to be getting some business.
Oh, that'll be great. Another good friend of both of ours is Ross Schott. He'll be there. What's he going to be doing?
Oh, yeah, Ross will be running the sound and lighting and selling the PA gear. And I tell you, he's been doing that for a long time. Very good sound man. And he'll be in the back there. He's got a nice setup there, and he can, guide you in anything you need, microphones, lighting gear, and things of that nature.
And how big? I mean, can it go, he's doing shows where at St. Mary's right now?
He's been running sound there at St. Mary's and the Union deal there, and, of course, at the Lerner. So, he can, help, set up sound anywhere from a band to, an entire production, He can, give you advice on what to use and what gear. And
well, that's great. I mean, the co-op sounds like just... For starting, you got a wide variety of very talented professional people.
Oh yeah, it's like a lot. There's so many guys have been at it, and that's one thing I at when we had the thing at McHugh's place. I said, "Gosh, we got some veterans here. Not to say we're a little long in the tooth, but we've got some people with some experience in different facets."
Too, when I got to see you this week, we talked on one of our other shows about guitar chords. And you're one of the dealers for a gentleman
Yeah, it's a guy that he's a direct importer, buys them by the entire container, and his main business is supplying electronics for the RV business, which, is booming big time in Elkhart once again, thank goodness. But he was also a drummer, and so he got into importing guitar cables, and he also has his own line of American-made cables too that he sells too. But the prices are just unmatchable. And I'm the only actual retail dealer in the country.
And it's great. And like I said, I remember our last show we talked about it. So I came in and I bought a 20-foot cord for $5. And I went home, plugged it in, and it sounds just as good. I mean, I can't tell the difference from my $38 cord. It's only 12 foot. And I mean, really, if you're looking for any kind of cord, this is the real deal over here at the co-op. And that'd be great on it. We're talking too. Bill came down and said where you're located. Is there any places close by people would know how to get there, easier to find?
Well, the biggest landmark, of course, is Central Hardware. But, of course, I guess if you're not in the plumbing business, you might not know where that's at,
You might be adding a room on, buddy. You might be.
But, we're midway between, Ash Road and 19, about midway there, across from the railroad tracks there. So if you're coming from, Elkhart or Goshen, it's, Franklin, and then, of course, turns into Old 33. If you're coming from Mishawaka, Lincoln Way turns into Old 33. So, and then if you're coming from the south or north, 19, just take 19 to Old 33, and very, very central location.
And you brought up, too, I remember I said when people bring kids in for lessons, there's also the Happy Cafe, which used to be called the Happy Cooker. So there is a restaurant.
Oh, yeah, just two doors down. If somebody wants to get a bite to eat there, while their kid's taking a lesson. Excellent food there. They've been in business, a great reputation. Drive by there in the morning, and oh, my goodness, the place is lined with cars.
And okay, and then I'll change it. When we were off too, I was saying, are you going to have any Christmas specials or any holiday? And you made a great point where you say it's good price all the time, which I think is a great concept. What brings you all?
Yeah, it's instead of having a big sale on something all the time, just keep your prices low all the time. The lowest price you can bring to the customer instead of having a one-time sale. I'd hate to go and see a place. Well, this weekend our guitars are $75, but Monday they'll be, back up to $125. I'd rather go in and play a place that, they're $95 every day, and waiting for a special, and try to keep, the prices where we can make a fair margin and keep, where the customer knows that they don't have to wait for a Black Friday or Green Tuesday or something to get a deal.
That's pretty good, Green Tuesday. But you've been doing this, for what, 20, 30 some years now with your different businesses. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
like
a great concept. It really is. Well, hey, we got a minute left. I'll go over some things. We got another break. Got some Leonard Skinner coming up, and it's from my good friend Adam Nelson, who has started a new website called Michiana Edge. And, of course, as I always say, Adam's great. If you go down to the Iconic Cafe, he's the one that designed our menus and our websites and everything. So it'll be a big shout-out to Adam. Get a hold of him. You can go to Michiana Edge. That'd be his Facebook page. And check it out because, like Jimmy, he's very customer-oriented. If he'll listen and he'll do what you need to be done. And I was so impressed when I got to meet Adam just starting the cafe. So, and what we got again tonight at 11 p.m., Radio Classics, NBC. Best plays will be Blythe Spirit, and that was aired on August 31st, 1952. And that was brought to you by the Phoenix Grill. And, of course, for tonight, too, the Phoenix has open mic Friday, Ground Control Saturday, Hooligan Heights. 5-Star Dive Bar, Paul Erdman will be there tonight. Blammo, Ultra Fab Friday, and Saturday will be Zero. And, of course, Rock Sports Cafe will be Paul Erdman Band on Saturday night. So we'll take a break. We got a little Leonard Skinner coming, and this is Iconic Radio. Back at you.
Totally focused, even though, been doing this for a while. You know, I had other things, distractions and things in life. And then one day I said, you know, I had told before years ago that when I was doing a job with the Department of Energy, and I used Mac for a reference, and you know, the interviewer said, hey, you know, he says you're really bright, but you lack focus. And I was taken aback by that, and I said, gosh, you know, what's he talking about, lack focus? And, you know, 40 years later, I realized he was right, you know, and just had to focus, you know, on one thing and, you know, reach your goals.
You know, all his guitars down there, so it'd be great to have it. So, again, Jimmy, a grand opening will be Saturday, December 6th.
Yep, Saturday, December 6th. Come on out. Looks like, you know, on our Facebook, we're going to have a nice crowd. Use a few more faces.
Well, that'll be great. Bill just handed me one last thing, is the South Bend Record and CD Show, and that'll be Sunday, December 7th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Comfort Suites, and that is on State Road 933. And let's see, free admission to come out and see that. So after you go visit Jimmy, you can go out and see the South Bend Record Show. So again, always thank Brenda. I can give more information about that. Check out Iconic Radios. So after you go visit Jimmy, you can go out and see the South Bend Record Show. So again, always thank Brenda. I can give more information about that. Check out Iconic Radios. Have information all about the radio show and cafe. And your Facebook page is?
Oh, we got the Midwest Musicians Co-op.
All right, sweet. Well, hey, that's about it for this show. Always, again, appreciate it. Everyone have a good evening, and this is Iconic Radio.